Paulie, I just saw Ryan Leaf walk by.
Yeah, our buddy just popped in the studio.
Oh, let's see if Ryan wants to join us.
Oh, please.
Yeah, maybe he can sit in your chair there. Former quarterback, done some great stuff. I saw him on the NFL Network. He did some stuff. There he is. Hey,
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf, everybody.
Ryan Leaf is here.
Look at that. How about that?
Is he in our tournament?
How are we doing? I just had to drop my car off at the Kia of Milford, so I thought I'd come over and sit for the 2 hours and watch your show, and then he asked me to come work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great to see you. The NFL Network, I've seen you on the doing the morning thing.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. They've given me an opportunity to break down some players, and then last week I got to host the whole show for 3 days while Peter Schrager was at the combine. So that was a lot of fun.
You brought up something, and I'm going to get to this other situation with Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers, but you brought up something about Russell Wilson and why he's been struggling. And I'd not heard that from anybody. So if you could enlighten our audience on what you think could be maybe at the crux of Russ struggling in Denver.
Well, I didn't mean for it to be an excuse or anything. It's not. I just don't think enough people had context around what happened. So when he got to IMG before he started to go into the draft, he met a young man by the name of Trevor Moawad. And Trevor worked really in the cognitive thinking, behavior aspect of things. He's worked with Alabama and Nick Saban and Kirby Smart in Georgia for years, helping them players build this mentality. And he really worked with Russell. And Russell bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. It's a neutral thinking. It is about not allowing a semblance of negativity into your thinking at all. It's not necessarily positive thinking. It's just staying as neutral as possible. And I think and he bought into it so much that it almost seems at times like he's a simulation sometimes.
Yes.
And so that can be off-putting. That could be isolating. But Trevor, who helped me once I got out of prison, started working with me the way I think and the way I go about things. And he's a big reason why I'm the person I am right now in these last 10 years. He passed away, unfortunately, right at the end of Russell's tenure in Seattle. And they usually did their work in the off season, so they probably had all their work kind of done and ready to go that year. And he struggled, of course, his last year in Seattle with injuries. And I just think it was something that truly affected him. Last year, I think he just went so much over the top to try to be that way. It did look like he was a simulation at times last year. And I had some friends of his reach out here after they saw me talk about it and said this was kind of spot on. And you're right, no one was talking about this. Everybody was kind of, I get people throwing trash at him around everything and some of the things he's done, but I wanted some people to have some context around, and it was also a way to honor my friend who's gone, who did tremendous things for so many people, for Russell in particular, and for me in particular as well.
Yeah, we had Trevor in here. He joined us one show and, talked about positivity and talked about, being with athletes and how you get them ready for an upcoming season or a big game. Ryan Leaf joining us by surprise here in studio. The Lamar Jackson situation. How does this work out for both?
I mean, I don't see how it does. But then to hear the teams last night just instantaneously come out and say, "Whoa, we're not in the Lamar Jackson business." Mm-hmm. Especially teams that we are talking about need quarterbacks.
But do you think they're saying that and that's the way they're going to be this entire summer? Or do you think the Falcons go,
listen to this.
Anybody?
Yeah, listen to this. So when I was on Good Morning Football the other morning, I said, anything you hear from Super Bowl to draft day, you can't believe a word that comes out of anybody's mouth. Mm-hmm. Nobody's. Not an agent's, not a player's, not a front office, anybody. Because everybody's trying to leverage everybody. Everybody's trying to get something more off somebody. So yeah, I don't like the public aspect of it where they came out and did that. Maybe they were posturing because I can't fathom a bunch of teams going after Lamar Jackson right now because you can get him by paying him what he wants and all you have to give up is 2 first-round draft picks. I'm all in that thing. If I'm the Jets, if I'm the Panthers, if I'm the Falcons.
Yeah, but are you paying him $230 million guaranteed? You are?
Yes. Yes, this is where contracts are going, and this is why no one wants to do it, because they don't want a second. They can use the Deshaun Watson as an outlier because of the significant difference of what was going on last year. They don't want to pay a second one because then owners throughout the league now know every time they sign a quarterback, it's going to have to be fully guaranteed money.
But I know they're trying to reset the market.
Yeah.
But I would be saying to Lamar and his mom, we're going to look at Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson's contract. Like, that's where we can be, and we want you to be here, and we will guarantee, you'll get the same numbers that they're getting. And, is that going to be good enough for you? Or do you just say, nope, I should be paid every bit what Deshaun Watson's getting paid?
He is stuck to his guns, and I'll give him a ton of credit for that, because I don't think for a second that if there isn't a contract that comes on the table and he's asked to play on the non-exclusive tag next year, I don't think he plays on it either.
But I got to give up 2 first-round picks for him and pay him all that money. I think Atlanta would be an ideal place for him. I could see the Commanders and Daniel Snyder giving the middle finger to the rest of the NFL and saying, hey, before I sell this team, I'm going to give him that. You guys deal with that. You guys deal with that when your contracts come up. But if you're the Bengals and you're the Chargers, are you going to pay $230 million guaranteed to Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert?
Yes. Those two are by far
guaranteed money.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it's going. The quarterback position is going to be a fully guaranteed position, and they are holding out as long as they can.
But I can guarantee that, Ryan, but I don't want to guarantee $230 million. I'd like to bring him back to where the other players are.
I know you'd like to. He's not willing to do that. And he right now is one of the best quarterbacks in all of the NFL, and that is a league that is run by that.
All right, here you go. You got Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Give me the order of you're going to pay $230 million guaranteed.
Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert.
Okay. All right. But all three in your bank account are getting $230 million guaranteed.
Yeah, they can. Capologists, general managers, they can figure a way to get it done. Man. Just listen to Andrew Brandt. He's helped me a ton in figuring out how to go about this, where you go and pay your quarterback a ton of money, a huge portion of what the cap percentage is, and still be able to feel a very competitive team. He's been incredibly helpful to me to understand that.
But you got Lamar, who's been injured the last 2 years. I'm not going to pay you on what you did. I got to pay you on what we are going to do together as we move forward. I can't pay him that kind of. I'm not going to give him guaranteed $230 million.
If you paid him what he did, every time he's been on the field, he's been the best player in that division. At the quarterback position. When he's been hurt, he's been hurt. I don't fault him at all for not playing at the end of the year if he wasn't 100%, because he went out and played on his 5th year. They should have done this deal.
Yes.
They should have done this deal after year 3.
But the same thing with the Giants with Daniel Jones. They should have.
I don't get that at all.
Would you have given Daniel Jones that deal?
I wouldn't have. Yeah. But they kind of put themselves in a tough position. They didn't give him the 5th-year option, right? He goes out and plays so well that they get to he wins a playoff game, and then he had the leverage. I don't know how much leverage. I don't know who was bidding against.
No, I give him a non-exclusive. You want to?
There you go.
You want him?
You're the only other person I've heard say that. I said it too. They should have given him the non-exclusive, paid him $32.8, and say, do it again in Brian Daboll's offense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm with you.
The situation with the Jets. What can the Jets tell Aaron Rodgers? What do you think they told Aaron Rodgers that would make him go, all right, I'm going to be a Jet?
Oh, I'm sure they, clamored to his ego and, approached the narcissistic personality. Kiss the ring. And Nathaniel Hackett's there. There's a big.
Do you want Aaron Rodgers?
No. Listen to this, people. All right, you are the New York Jets. Do you honestly think you bring in Aaron Rodgers, the team is good enough? You add that piece, they leapfrog Buffalo. They leapfrog Cincinnati. They leapfrog Kansas City. I'm even going to throw Jacksonville and Los Angeles in the equation. Maybe Miami. You think they leapfrog all those people because you only get them for a year. You're only going to get them for 1 year.
That's why I don't want him, because...
There you go. You and I are so on the same page.
And I never would have thought that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they go after Lamar. That's enough. I think they get on that plane and fly right to Baltimore or down to Miami, wherever.
So you would take Lamar, if you're the Jets, over Aaron Rodgers?
I would pay him I would sign him to his offer sheet, toss over those couple first-round draft picks, and now you got the whole team that you had there before, and you got a guy for the next 5 years in his prime playing in New York, where you have been just absolutely anemic at the quarterback position.
And I think they're a year away. I think
Me
they're
too.
I think they're a playoff team, but if I'm making a move, I don't want to make a move that's really a false move, that we have Aaron and then we don't have him. Now what do we really have? Are we back to Mike White?
That's why I like Derek Carr.
I did too.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on that you and I are on the same page?
You just haven't had me on in a long time. You and I just are not, maybe it's my move to Connecticut. We're both Connecticut people now, and so now we think differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, I never would have thought we'd have been on the same page.
Nope. Now we are. Oh, my Lord.
Well, you're growing up.
I am. How cool is this, though? We moved to Connecticut, and Polly's little girls, Peyton and Molly, they babysit my little 5-year-old now.
MacGyver.
Yes. It is the best thing in the world, because Polly was the one that always reached out to me back when I was struggling so poorly, and we've stayed friends forever.
Yeah.
And now we're in this place where his little girls are. I go to his girls' little basketball game, and MacGyver came along.
I still think that you got to name your kid MacGyver.
How awesome is that?
And your wife was fine with it.
She's the one that picked it.
Damn. But is he going to be Mac, or is he going to be? Are you going to be? Hey, his name is MacGyver.
I call him Mick G.
Okay.
It's MC. It's not spelled like MacGyver, the TV show. It's spelled McGyver. So I call him Mick G. Anna calls him Guyver sometimes.
All right.
Some people call him Mac. But he knows when he's in trouble. He'll get the MacGyver Fitzgerald.
Ooh.
Get your butt over here. Yeah. Yeah.
It's great to see you.
You too.
And I hope your car, is
It's
is fine.
just a 15,000-mile service appointment. It just happens to be down the road. So I thought I'd come in the green room and watch you work.
Always
Thanks, guys.
great. Happy for your success. That's
Yes, sir.
Ryan Leaf joining us on the program.